evolution of Leo Fender's guitars continued. He took a lot of feedback from players who loved the Telecaster guitar, but it being a plank body about that thick up here, and I used to have one, you get a very sore forearm when your arm is rubbing and you're sweating all the time for 3 or 4 or 5 hours a night playing on this guitar. If you just took your arm and rubbed it against a tree branch or the door in your house over and over, you'd get a raw patch there. So it caused him to contour the guitar, which is just a big sander, and he contoured down the edge of this guitar. So you can put your arm there and it's not sticking out like that. A lot of guys also developed one of these, which you might want to call the Buddha. And so Leo Fender made a little space there for the Buddha, for your guy's tummy, if you want to call it that, or if you're a girl, it would fit where it's supposed to fit. So this is a real contoured guitar. It also had an upper cutaway. You could slide up and play really high, whereas you were limited on the Telecaster by having a single cutaway. I first heard this guitar and saw it on Ed Sullivan. Buddy Holly played it. That kind of thing, and then everybody in the world wanted this new Fender guitar. Except in England, they hadn't heard of it yet. They've heard Buddy Holly, but they haven't seen it. And Cliff Richard, on one of his first trips to the UK to promote Live and Doll, which was his big single, had an order from his band, The Shadows, to bring back a Fender guitar. They meant a Telecaster guitar, like the one I previously played. Not knowing any better, Cliff Richard just went into a store at Manny's in New York and said, I wanted to get the latest Fender guitar. They gave him this guitar, Fender Stratocaster. He took it back to Hank Marvin in London and said to the guys in the Shadows, I brought you back a Fender guitar. They opened it up and they said, what's that? What's this? What are these pickups? What is this switch? What is this thing? Well, long story short, they wanted, Telecaster to be playing like James Burton. They didn't get one. They got this guitar, it became their signature guitar. The Shadows must have had 80 or 90 hit singles, and most of it is based on the sound of this called the wang bar, which just takes your strings and just kind of lowers them, gets a wonderful tone. And Shadow's first big hit, which I learned to play immediately, was called Apache. Now, if you put some distortion on that and give it to Mr. Jimmy Hendrix, and you get psychedelic blues, you can just see how important that wang bar is to modern day blues and rock and roll. So thank you, Leo Fender, for another great classic.